Hello everyone and welcome on back to the channel. It is such a pleasure to see you here today and on such a special occasion such as the Expansion 5 announcement, and with it we have a trailer. And in this video we're going to be going into that trailer, dissecting little bits and pieces that we can see and overall talking about it and the expansion. So thank you so much for coming on by. But before we head on in, I would like to let you know that I have referral links down below if you would like to purchase Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds, the 5th expansion in the Guild Wars 2 series, where you can get spears, player housing, raids, more story content, more map metas. Thank you so much, ArenaNet, for giving me and other partners codes. While you're down there, like, comment, and subscribe because it greatly helps me out. But today we're going to be talking about the trailer for Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds. Now, this trailer is one of my favorites for a few reasons. I think they do a really great job introducing Janthir Wilds because this area that we're going to in Guild Wars 2 has never been explored before, and for such mystery surrounding this place to start on the coast outside of any land and the camera is zooming in through that water, through the fog, through the haze, it really creates this cool sense of, oh, we really are going somewhere shrouded in mystery, shrouded in so many questions of what is really happening here, who resides here, and what are the conflicts we're going to be facing in Janthir Wilds and the Isles of Janthir. So I absolutely loved that introductory shot, and it had such a sense of scale, and it was just really cool. I don't really feel like we have a lot of aquatic shots with like rocks jutting out, and it was just something that was very different from what I'm used to from my time in Guild Wars 2. And then we eventually reach the coast, and with it there's a bunch of bones and almost like a graveyard or a scrap yard of shipwrecks or animals that have been beached onto the coastline, and it was eerily haunting, which I loved. And then it juxtaposes itself with what I assume to be the commander out overlooking a cliff with a waterfall, and you really get that sense of scale. Not only is this perhaps a dingy place with some haunting motifs and elements to it, it's also very beautiful and vibrant and filled with life. Wherever there's water and lush greenery, it's like, you can kind of like plant yourself down there and make a home. And I know many of us will be making homes in this expansion. I know I will. And it was just a beautiful opening shot. I really enjoyed it. But the next thing that we get into does have to deal with some more story content, and it introduces someone who I had not seen in a long time. But when I first watched the trailer, I was like, why do I know that Char? Why does she look familiar? And I believe that this Char, alongside the commander, is Malice Swordshadow, who is the Imperator of the Ash Legion. Now, we haven't seen her since the Icebrood saga, and I really enjoyed what they were doing with that character back in the Icebrood saga, but it didn't really go anywhere. And I felt like there was so much potential with this character and the Ash Legion in general. So the fact that we see a screenshot or a segment of this trailer with her is really cool. I'm excited that she's going to be in the story again. Now, does this mean other Imperators are going to be coming along? I'm not so sure. I am not so sure, but it's really, really beautiful to see. But right after Malice, we see a settlement of the Astral Ward. Now, it was mentioned on the tail end of Expansion 4, which had to do with the Astral Ward, that we would be picking up some of the ties, the narrative ties, and it will help us be introduced into this next area in Expansion 5. And we see that here with a settlement from the wizards. I recognize that architecture, and it looks beautiful. It's once again kind of floating, and it's chained down. So the wizards, they really love their settlements to be floating above the actual the geology of Tyria. They like to be up high and away from things. But right after this, we see Anise, and Anise was a person who was hinted at continuing on in the story at the very end of Expansion 4 in the update called The Midnight King. And there was a brief little note from Anise, so I think I was already mentally gearing up to see Anise in some fashion, but I was very pleasantly surprised that she was so quickly confirmed in the trailer itself. And I love that. And she says that she doesn't want to come to Janthir, that it's shrouded in some mystery and there's a storm brewing. And it does start to cast this menacing tone around it. And I think this is where we have a little bit of a tonal shift in the trailer. It was that mystery showcasing the unraveling of the Isles of Janthir, and then all of a sudden it's, oh, but what is actually going on here? There might be something more sinister, something more mysterious. And then we get to see some lovely Kodan, some lovely, lovely Kodan, seeing that there is a civilization here who have made a home for themselves. And it's a type of Kodan that isn't white fur. It's brown fur. So it's going to be nice to see some more Kodan walking around that are not just basic carbon copies of one another. And then we get some gameplay, a little bit of gameplay with the spear. Now, what class this might be, I have absolutely no idea. But it is the main player character utilizing the spear. And some of the trailing effects on the spear are blue and yellow, which to me read a bit more Guardian. And it might be a play off of like the Paragon. That might be what they're trying to do. It's not so blue that it screams Guardian. I'm a little bit lost. I'm like, it could be Guardian, it could be Warrior, it could even be Revenant. I could definitely see Revenant utilizing this color scheme for some of their abilities. We see that with Glint. It's this muted grayish blue. But it could also be the Guardian. And if it's the Guardian, I'm excited to see some of the Guardian abilities because I'm a Guardian main. And then we interestingly cut to, I think, a debut of some new creatures or enemy types, which these are like rocky, craggy amalgamations of like sentient rock creatures. And like geodes, which is pretty cool. They're surrounding the commander. They're scoping out the place, they're closing in, and they look really cool. They look more wild and animalistic than what we were previously fighting in the last expansion, which were primarily just demons. But with this, I'm wondering if these are like the natural animals. They're kind of just magical, sentient animals with an intention to either kill or befriend. We'll have to see what happens with these specific creatures, but don't forget we are in the Isles of Janthir, which, if my lore and my history classes are correct from my friends, Janthir was a place where the Mursaat dwelled and kind of set up shop there. And I believe they tampered with bloodstone and different magics, so there's probably an ancient lineage of magical tamperings across this land, and how it has impacted these lands. We might be seeing that here with these creatures, maybe? Or they might just be a construct of some actual sentient villain that we are going to be fighting. Maybe this is like their army. These are their minions. But we get some more action shots, and we here have an elementalist wielding a spear. And it looks like they're wielding it at ranged, which is different than what the previous video was showing, or the previous scene was showing. Which is really cool. The fact that everyone is getting access to the spear, but they all use the spear in unique and different ways according to their profession, is amazing. I think the one thing I was worried about was that everyone was going to get the same exact weapon, which I know sounds wild. Maybe like, KROOF, don't even dwell in that nightmare scenario. But I was kind of like, oh no, are they going to give everyone the same spears, like almost like a mastery? And then they're going to give them their own unique weapon as they did in Expansion 5. It doesn't seem like they're doing that. It just seems like the new weapon for each profession is going to be the spear weapon, but that they're still going to be using it in their own unique way, which is lovely to see. And we see this elementalist chuck this spear. And then we have a little bit of a voice line from Malice, where I think she's saying like a false god, which is kind of coming and harkening back to the Mursaat era when we were in Living World Season 3, which ended up being Balthazar, spoiler alert, and there was a whole idea of gods and false gods. Is this going to be a return of the gods? Is Lissa going to come back? Is Melandru still here? What's going on? The wording of god is really interesting in Guild Wars 2. Logo for Guild Wars 2, Janthir Wilds, and this logo is one of my favorites, and the soundtrack. And then boom, right after that, we got player housing, baby. Player housing. Now, who would have guessed? Many of us would have. Who would have guessed that we would be receiving player housing in an expansion that feels so quickly on arrival to us, just because we're in this new yearly cycle of the expansions, and I know there was 10 years of the Dragon Saga, but to me, Guild Wars 2 in this era, with Secrets of the Obscure and now Janthir Wilds, things move so much more quickly and with so much more haste. And I think it's so exciting and so beautiful to see all of that. And overall, that was everything shown in the trailer. We're going to be getting into each of the different topics and each of the different features for Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds. Be sure to go down in the description below to pre-order your copy of Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds and get some nice exclusive items. This trailer was so good. It's just been a while since I've had, because it's been exactly a year since we've had an expansion trailer. But I feel like this one hits so much more comfortably than the Secrets of the Obscure did. Mostly because with Secrets of the Obscure, it was a completely new time period for Guild Wars 2. It was completely uncharted territory, and it was the first time we were really going somewhere new. And now that we've experienced the newness of the Horn of Maguma and the demons, and we got that first-hand experience of what that was like, this doesn't feel so out of the blue. It's like, it's a natural progression to where Guild Wars 2 is going, exploring new storylines, going to areas that we've never been before, and truly expanding the world of Tyria in a meaningful way to create more memories for years to come. And this trailer did a great job at showcasing gameplay, showcasing exciting personal features such as player housing, which you will be able to hopefully share with all of your friends by inviting them in, and to decorate and to have fun. And along with this, there are endgame features coming, which is Raid Wing number 8. So that was the trailer for Guild Wars 2 Janthir Wilds. Like, comment, and subscribe for more Guild Wars 2 content. If you'd like to get videos early as we're jumping into this expansion cycle, feel free to hit me over on Patreon. Hit me up over on Patreon for those exclusive and early access videos. And I also stream over on Twitch during the weekends, usually playing Guild Wars 2 and a couple other games, and I would love to see you over there. So thank you everyone so much for coming on by. Comment below your thoughts about this trailer, and you'll know what to do. I'll see you in the next one. Mwah!